Well. If it isn't 2025 and our first Dork Discourse of the new year, friends, and I'm so freaking satisfied that it ends on an even number. That it's our first episode of the new year, episode 80. How crisp is that? How perfect did that work out and we didn't even try, folks?
That is nice.
That was just a beautiful coincidence. But welcome, friends. Welcome. Thank you so very much for joining us for this very belated return to the pod. Our weekly Tuesdays, same time, same place. Henceforth, going forward from here on out, but we pretty much essentially took latter half of December off and beginning half of January, so it's been like a freaking month. So hello, everybody. Hello. Shout out to the early gang. We had Emery, Charlie, Sean, Matthew. Let's get it, Bird Church. Everybody was rolling in. Stanley's is here. Let's go. Let's go. Gang's all here. Thanks for Jay's here. Welcome. Thanks for showing up after we went dormant for quite a little bit. I hope you guys are doing well, as always. Anything to say to kick off the pod for the new year?
Happy 3 weeks into 2025, everybody. Happy New Year here. I know I've been hanging out with some of you guys on McBots, but this is the first time we've had Dork Discourse. Just live talk about all things entertainment and Star Wars in particular. Back here on Dork Discourse. So good to be back. Great to see you all. Everybody hanging out in the chat. And excited to continue on.
I know, I've missed
with Dork Discourse.
Missed this. It almost doesn't feel like we are caught up / in the know. Particularly, especially with shows, Skeleton Crew. I think I just feel so off with that in general because I wasn't on my usual schedule of uploading and posting live while the show was running. So that's obviously on me, but it makes me feel like disconnected in a way from you guys, especially because I was so freaking behind. So sorry. Y'all, I lost like 10 subscribers when I spam dropped all those episodes at once. There were definitely at least 10 folks who were like, frick this. Sam Yule asks, do you guys do music reactions? Should I? I get requests for that quite a lot. And I've always said this, but one of our favorite reactors is Alex Hefner, who we learned of via his music reactions. And he has his own movie and TV vault and everything where he watches film and television. But let me know. It depends. It depends who.
Yeah.
And if I could figure that out, because I feel like music reactions, you just have to eat the copyright. You just have to take the loss. I don't know how.
That's the tough part. I mean, you could do it if you did it short form with YouTube Shorts and TikTok and Reels and spliced it up.
Ooh, that
like
could
those platforms, the copyright doesn't apply for whatever licensing agreement that there is. It's the long form where it comes into play. So
so tempting. We'll see. I don't know.
Do full short form dedicated music reaction series probably.
Potentially.
But then people will probably just ask for long form, and then it's not really. It's just gonna all revenue will go to the licensing and the production,
which would be fair, which would be fine, especially since I would only be reacting to people that I would want to support. Hand of Omega, what's up here on your lunch break? I have to dress like a wampa here in Michigan. For real. I know y'all, some of y'all, East Coast
the
primarily.
Majority of the entire United States right now is under snow.
Yeah.
Even the South, Florida, snowing in Florida, snowing in Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, there's snow on the ground. So
what?
It's literally the entire United States except for the Southwest.
What's going on?
So
meanwhile, we're getting ash. We are having...
It's very clear. Today's one of the clearest days it's been in the
last
2
weeks. Today actually was
so.
very nice, clear. It was gorgeous today. But yes, of course, the Los Angeles fires are still ongoing. Hence why we didn't do an episode last week. Didn't necessarily just feel right, but we're continuing to get back on track here. Piercing like light, what is up? Thanks for being here. Jason Olsen, let's get it. Thank y'all for showing up and showing out since it's been a hot minute.
Whole gang.
Joshua, hello from San Diego. Speaking of be safe, now it's shifting down to you guys, Joshua. I hope that you and your family are safe. Fingers crossed, because now the problem has moved further south. We are totally in the clear here, and I believe actually they have the Pacific Palisades fire under 59% containment last time I checked, which is significant. That's huge.
It's good.
Lance, what's up? Hello, hello, hey, hey. But welcome, friends. Thank y'all for joining. Why do you live in a state where it doesn't rain?
Great question, Jay.
Believe me,
Great question.
believe me. It is a song of ice and fire up in here, Emery's. Actually, you're onto something. My next YouTube video, wink, wink, you called it, falls into that theme. It's my Fire and Blood review, which I've been saying forever, and y'all are gonna have to ignore in that video because I explicitly say, like, oh, this is either gonna be my last video of 2024 or first video of 2025, so Happy New Year. And I'm uploading the end of January after already uploading all of my Skeleton Crew reactions, so ignore that. Listen, living in a state with no rain is really freaking nice for lots of the year, but I do miss it as somebody who grew up on the East Coast. When it doesn't rain here in LA, I struggle. I'm in an emotional drought when we are in a physical one. John Pitts, what's up? I hope you two are having a great and awesome day. You too, John.
Thank you, John.
Always commenting, always literally like the first to comment on my videos and wish me a good day. And it never fails to make my day. Holy shnikes, whoops, I've missed some member chats. I'm gonna catch up. Can you tell I'm out of the loop? I haven't done this in a hot minute. First, glad that you guys are safe. Thank you, Charlie. And awesome of you to do the charity stream. We killed it. We freaking did. Thank you guys so much, everybody who was there. Oh, that's right. Yes, on Thursday, celebration, photo ops, and table signing sales. Be ready, for real. We are about to be locked and loaded with every device ready to get into the queue. If they do a Revenge of the Sith group photo, jump in. That would actually be electric. Here's my concern. These photo ops are also usually like $800. They are so freaking expensive.
Depends on which one you get.
But there's so many people I'd want to
The table signings.
That's where it's at.
Is a more personable experience. The photo op, it's cue. All right, get in, snap. All right, get out. Next, get in, snap, get out. So you have a high quality photo. Like here, get the.
Yeah, I mean this photo's epic, and we look at it every single day.
Celebration in Anaheim. My brother and I with Sheev.
But this one stinks because this was during COVID.
Yes, it was COVID, so you had the little barrier there. But I don't think that Ian McDermott was going to be giving Tyler a bear hug there. But, like, yeah, so, I mean, that was like 15 seconds of walking in, getting set.
After how long of waiting in line?
Said hello. I mean, it's all timed, so you have a certain time where you queue.
Oh,
so you're not just standing there for hours.
For 3 hours.
Yeah. But it's like queued, you go in, you say hi, and then you take the picture, and then you're out. And then it's the next one up. But the table signings is more... You have more time with the actual person. So
they're not actually $800. I don't know, Matthew. I don't want to be fear-mongering, but they're not cheap.
I think the last celebration, Hayden Ewan was like $400 for a picture with the two of them.
Yeah.
That was $200.
That's not that bad. And if you could get the duo, Hayden and Ewan together, that would actually be epic.
Still... If it's not a high quality photo, but you have more time with them, I think in my mind that maybe better bang for your buck.
And who's to say, are you not allowed to snap a selfie in the signing line? Like, hey, real quick, can you sign this and I'll take a pic? Like, you could get the best of both worlds and have more opportunity to speak with them.
Oh yeah.
But is there somebody there, like an usher, to keep the queue going? Otherwise, people would hog. You know, I feel like people might be there forever.
I don't know.
There's got to be some sort of mediator. Hayden was $250. Charlie coming in, he knows it. He's got this down on lock. So yes, so we have to see, but so many of my faves are going to be there. I think Mads Mikkelsen, holy shnikes, Galen Urso. They just announced Sam Witwer this week.
Nice.
I'm gonna have to budget, y'all. I gotta figure it out. Catching back up with some member chats. Member for 15 months, Sean, thank you so much. Heck yes, 15 months and counting.
Sean.
Can't believe it's 2025 and we are here. Love you all, and can't wait for the adventures and chats this year. Here's to you too, you as well, Sean, and here's to the Skeleton Crew. Yes, and here's to us. Yes, so thank you, Sean. That provides a perfect segue. I'm gonna knock out the rest of these member chats, and then we are gonna finally talk some Skeleton Crew and Andor pre-gaming now that we are in Andor mode season 2, y'all. Skeleton Crew, we're finished out, and now it's just straight on coasting into April. Celebration in Andor. Holy smokes, it's gonna be here in a jiffy. Thank you so much, Sean, and to Nick as well. Remember, for 35 months. Holy smokes.
Mr. Gundy.
Cat and Tom, hope you're doing well and safe. If Mr. Charlie didn't mention, I've officially entered my 30s. Oh God.
All
Oh
right.
God, Nick Gundy, congrats.
Congratulations.
Don't let my
Dirty
reaction be indicative of
What?
as
Calling 30.
it's coming from someone who's pushing 30. Power to you.
Yeah, we're closer to 30 than we
I know.
are
I
25
know.
even.
I know.
We're not far.
I know.
We ain't far.
Happy belated birthday, Nick. Indeed, indeed. Thank you so much for your membership and your support always, and for always uplifting the mood and spirits around here and keeping it real. Only halfway done with Skeleton Crew. Oh, Shnikes. Okay. In that case, we will not necessarily share spoilers because I think I have shared all of my thoughts
In your videos?
in my reactions.
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't know if I've developed any new ones necessarily, but the people have not heard from you at all, really,
No.
since the mid-season. So do you want to share your overall thoughts, spoiler-free, of the show?
Sure. I think overall, it was a good show. Enjoyable. I think it was a nice, continuous, kind of week-to-week episode, building on the last, setting up the future episodes. I think it wrapped up with a nice bow on top. So yeah, overall I enjoyed it. I think it was continuous story from beginning, middle to end. When you compare it to, okay, what's its impact on the greater Star Wars world and lore?
Here we go.
It's pretty minuscule, which I think, based on the way they set it up, starting off with, talking about like setting up the lore of Ad-Atten and the planet and how it's isolated and it goes back for generations. I feel like it didn't. There's still more to learn about the history behind Ad-Atten and everything. So I think I was a little let down that it wasn't more of a like grandiose reveal of this,
Careful,
like,
not too many spoilers.
crazy
Not too many spoilers.
backstory of this planet here and how it ties to the greater universe. But I think it totally makes sense. Why not? Because they frame this whole show from the perspective of the kids.
Yes.
And it's all from the lens of the kids and the point of view of the kids. So I think that it makes sense for the context of the show. So yeah, I'm pretty neutral on it. Like, it was good. Enjoyed it. Will I watch it again? Probably not. Because I'd rather rewatch other Star Wars projects that are more of a grander scale. But it was good.
I know for you, the lasting impact on the overall lore, the overall canon, has significant weight in how much you enjoy a show. So that's fair, because I would agree that, and I know that we had the same, when we rendezvoused after the finale and shared our thoughts, I think we were in the same boat, that perhaps it's because these are all new characters, it is a completely separate storyline, and I would agree that in the larger scope of the Star Wars stories that we've been getting that are all very much intertwined, this felt not like an outlier per se, but it doesn't necessarily seem to have the same lasting... It was a perfect, if you ask me, perfect start to finish, like, concrete story.
Yep.
Like, I think they did an amazing job of bundling up and presenting it, like, and I agree completely. I think I would venture to say that this show rivals maybe only Andor when it comes to the consecutive, like, the flow of the episodes. The start to finish, don't pump the brakes, keep the story
Ahsoka
going.
was great at that too.
It was, however, World Between Worlds deviates, like, a little bit. Like, I love that the show just stayed.
But that's also one of the greatest episodes in history.
It is. But
It's like Boba Fett.
In terms of flow, and it gets right into it, it keeps going. Every episode is different, but they're all connected. I think this show is one of the best when it comes to that, the continuity. So I really enjoyed that, and it made the viewing process, especially to be able, maybe again, take all this with a grain of salt because I usually am not binging all of the episodes at once like I did for the latter half of the season. That is not typical. So maybe I feel more that way because I was able to watch the final 4 episodes immediately back to back rather than having to wait a week. What?
You said back to back.
Yeah.
And then I said to back to back.
Okay. To back. Sure. No. If we want to be literal here.
No.
But yes, I think the flow was phenomenal. I loved, that they kept the focus, they kept the momentum going. And I want to highlight what Nick said here as he's in the midst of his viewing journey. So far for me, that this has been a great adventure I've been missing from a Star Wars show for a while. I think you were able, Nick, to articulate what I was trying and failing to pinpoint in my reactions, which is the show constantly, and help me out, y'all, like, feel free, if you can articulate why this was the case, let me know if you agree or if I'm totally coming out of left field. But this show, so frequently, I just felt the same emotions that I feel when watching Clone Wars and Rebels. And maybe it's because those shows at times both had more of that lighthearted energy, like the stakes weren't so high and you could have a good laugh and focus on some of the more whimsical, childlike and just more enjoyable, like just fun, fantastical elements of Star Wars. The show dialed it up, Skeleton Crew with the aliens, the different creatures, the monsters that these kids had to face.
Yeah.
Versus all the other
and
shows.
The worlds, a lot of variety in the worlds, and yeah, it was you can tell that there was definitely a lot of love and care put into just building this world out through the lens of the kids.
Exactly. Quick pause for Julian, member for 36 months. Thank you so very much on the master level, no less. Thank you. Hey Kat, hi Tom, just dropping in to say hi everyone, be safe. Thank you, Julian. And what are your thoughts on TikTok? It's not the same. Can I be frank? I probably will not be using TikTok going forward because I have heard that things are different. I think the drama surrounding the shutdown that didn't last for even 24 hours, I'm not going to delve into it because it has become very politicized, but I'm probably not going to be using TikTok anymore, and frankly I never did.
Use it anyway.
I didn't use it anyway. I want to ramp up my Instagram reels, even little mini vlogs here on like YouTube Shorts. Like I want to ramp up my short form content. That's a goal for mine this year, but I don't want to do it via TikTok. I have heard that it's different on there. The algorithms have changed. I'm not shocked. And I've heard that Americans can come back on but aren't monetized. I've heard that American creators have restrictions. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
But I have heard that it's flowing differently. Dan the Man, I don't think I said hello to you. Hello. Thank you for being here. Oh, and Julian also asked, but don't let me, I'm not fear-mongering TikTok. Use whatever you want to use. And I know that so many people, that was their living, that was their bread and butter. So I'm grateful that people aren't suddenly unemployed. Especially as someone in the content creation form, I can't imagine if YouTube were to shut down tomorrow and I'd have to go scramble and figure out what the frick am I going to do with my life. So from that point of view, I feel empathy, and I felt, very strongly for people who were essentially losing their jobs, but I don't think I will be using the app going forward. Julian also asks, when are the next live streams and which movies are next? I owe you guys a members only stream, and I think I want to do one that isn't necessarily a watch party, but maybe we'll do a little mix. We'll do, because I need to do a horror reaction, so if y'all want to watch that with me this month, drop some recommendations. I've gotten a lot of requests for Sinister, which is like an old-fashioned one. My dad actually requested that one, and he never asks anything of me. So the fact that he even reached out to me, and he calls it my form of self-torture, watching the horror reactions, and he straight up asked if I had seen that one, so I told him I would watch it.
Yeah, do that.
But I think I also want to watch The Substance because it's coming into awards season, and that one's kind of cleaning up a little bit. And my brother, who is a bigger horror connoisseur than I am, I would venture to say he has a stronger will for the... He's been watching horror movies since he was like 5 years old, so he can take a lot. He went to go see The Substance. You heard the story. He went to see it in theaters by himself and had to leave. He had to leave 30 minutes into the movie. because he couldn't handle it. So I feel like that would be a good test to see if I could react to that. And I've heard that one is a very specific, it's body, it's physical horror that's difficult to stomach. So I think that could be fun for the viewing. Yo, I'm becoming quite, can I just say, quick little diversion? I went to go see Nosferatu New Year's Day, and I feel like I'm becoming a better horror critic, because I walked out of that movie and I was like, this isn't even scary. Like, I walked out of there on a freaking high horse. Like, I didn't tear it apart, but I had opinions about it that I would not normally have been able to form when it comes to horror films. So these horror film reactions are making me more well-rounded. I haven't said hello to Sal either. What's up? What's up? Thank you so much for being here.
Sal?
Back to Skeleton Crew. Yes, pivoting back real quick. In regards to Skeleton Crew, Sal says, I liked the show. I wasn't one who loved it, just not in a Star Wars mood the past few years, I guess. So my have been anticipation and attachment to Star Wars just isn't there. That is okay. You are not alone in that. And I do question, not that I question how this show came to be. I think it was a much needed, especially following Acolyte. It was just a very enjoyable, lighthearted, whimsical, joyful show that still had really great twists and turns and delved into some deep things and had epic standout performances. Dare I say, Jude Law's Jod is maybe one of the most intriguing, and speaking of well-rounded, just one of the, I think, best written characters in the Disney Plus era.
Just a loser.
What? Okay, no spoilers, because Nick's still in the middle of watching. No. He's just a loser.
Yeah, I don't think he's cool or intriguing. I just think he's a loser. Gonna torment the kids and put them through the ringer just to get some cash, and then mope around, and dude's just a loser.
We gotta unpack that.
I don't personally feel like I need to see Jod ever again in anything.
Okay. Well then, interesting. Interesting. Matthew asks for, oh yeah, that's right, I asked you guys for some movie recommendations. Matthew suggested The Shining. Unfortunately, that's one of my favorite movies, so I have already seen that one. I saw Nosferatu a few days ago in cinema, and it was so good, says Bird Church. I think I need to go see it again. My mini review, it wasn't as scary as I thought it would be, which is okay, because I think that
Nosferatu,
director,
you're talking about?
Yes, I think Robert Eggers goes more for creating the vibe. It's about the vibrations and the aura, the eeriness versus the horror per se. But coming off of The Witch, which is an extremely, his first film, I would argue to say quite terrifying. Nosferatu was very tame, easy to handle. I felt like it was just a little bit long. I think it could have been like 45 minutes shorter, if I'm being honest. But maybe I'm not giving it a fair review. I think I need to go see it again, because it's also just a completely different film than what we're used to these days. So that could just be on me, and I might appreciate it more a second time around. Also, I think it was extremely overhyped online. Not overhyped, I think a lot of the hype is worth it. I thought it was beautiful. All the performances were standout, stellar, phenomenal, really, really well done, beautifully shot, amazing sets, incredible visuals. Like, it is great
still
all
talking
around.
About Nosferatu?
Yes, still talking about Nosferatu. Full package, but I do think people were like, I think people inflated some of the hype about it online, and it was just so, like, all the talk about Nosferatu was just extremely, I don't know, on the internet, people were acting like it was the second coming of Christ, and so I was like, okay, I'm ready. And then I went in and I was like,
it's a old iconic movie.
I need to see the original one. I need to see
the
OG. So yes, I didn't like the substance, says Anakin. Well, welcome, Anakin. And oh, rats. Yeah, I think I might do a poll, because I want to do, I think, 2 horror reactions this month, because I'm really enjoying it. And I need to bounce back from The Conjuring 2, which I didn't really enjoy that much. I'm so sorry. It scared the life out of me. It scared me. I cannot believe that our neighbors have not, like, reported me to management.
Yeah.
Thinking that I have a problem going on over here. But I need to rebound from Conjuring 2, so I feel like I want to up the ante to 2 horror films per month. because why not? So we will see. So again, drop some more suggestions if you have some for what we should do for January. The Thing. Okay, yes, that is also on my list from Charlie. Good one. Stanley's pivoting back to address Matthew's question actually real quick. We have seen Doctor Sleep. Really good. Very good.
Nope.
To pivot back to Skeleton Crew, John is definitely coming back in other shows. That look in his final scene was the look of a man with a plane. I do think, yes, he had some mischievous... Oh, sorry, spoiler, frick. All right, I'm going to try to censor myself when it comes to Skeleton Crew. And we can also focus on Andor Season 2, y'all, now that it's time. Allegedly, not even alleged at all. I just see people begging for a trailer every day online. I haven't gone on Twitter, but last time I was on there...
Haven't they already released a trailer?
No.
Teaser?
I don't think so. Did they? Holy smokes.
Maybe it was just like a celebration
Maybe.
thing. I thought they released something. Let me...
John was one of my
Maybe it
fave
was just like a little clip.
characters in recent Star Wars, says Bird Church.
Yeah, like he was an intriguing character, but I mean he's like Pong Krell or what's the other scumbag? There's another character that's Pong Krell-esque. That's just scumbag-y, and you just hate him.
There's that guy in The Last Jedi that they meet on Canto Bight, who teams up with Finn and Rose, and he ends up deceiving them.
Yeah, he's kind of... I mean, yeah, that's another financially motivated character who's just going to screw over the protagonists. In that case, he's not as bad because he's screwing over the rebellion, not civilians. Versus Jada just screwing over innocent kids and taking advantage of them. And literally,
no more spoilers!
And literally threatening them.
No more spoilers for Nick.
Threatening them with
Redemption
their lives.
for Chad, says Hid of Omega. Redemption for Chad. Listen. All I will say is they
set it up because the kids believed in him and whatever. I forget the main kid's name.
How many times do I have to say don't spoil it?
I'm sorry.
Okay, Sal.
Done. No more.
Peaky Blinders for the first time. Best show ever. After our Andor rewatch, which we also just started last night, and holy smokes, I forgot how amazing Andor was. I think, first off, I was just rewatching it, like, why has it taken so long? Are you trying to find the other... any official teasers of season 2?
Yeah, it's all just fake trailers.
Yeah. I questioned why it has been so long since I personally rewatched Andor, and I think it was because it's just too epic for my system to handle. I needed some time to let it sit for a year plus before I could revisit it, but holy smokes, what did we do to deserve that show? Season 2 is about to be electric, y'all. I freaking really hope that it's on the same level. How could it not be? But yes, especially because K2, y'all have been mentioning in the chat, my favorite freaking character ever is coming back, and also confirmation of Director Krennic. That would be amazing. That would be epic. I wouldn't mind a little Mads Mikkelsen cameo, but I'll take what I can get. Like,
Galen would be sweet.
Yes. To see more of the BTS of, what his time is like. I don't know. I'm curious.
It would be nice to see the inner workings of Edu.
Yeah.
And them actually building it.
Because this buffers right up to literally the precipice of Rogue One. Yeah. So it could show him, like, sabotaging from the inside.
Yeah. I think each of the... What do they say? It's like, I mean, it's another 12-episode season. It's like the 3-episode arcs. Is it a year in between each of the arcs?
Oh, you're right, yes.
I think it's something like that, where it's like a year or 2 in between each of the 3-episode arcs. So there's going to be way more... This season's going to span a greater length of time than the first season.
Dan's asking my people... what is it about Director Krennic? For me, I just love his ambition and his sassiness. Because you can tell... I think from a villain standpoint... He has this bit of vulnerability because you know he's in a really tough spot. He's got people to please. He's got a lot riding on him right now. You see other figures like, you know, Grand Moff Tarkin trying to come in, take advantage of that, steal the rug out from under him. So, not that you root for him in a sense, but you can recognize his vulnerability and the fact that he doesn't shy away from. He's got balls. He's got audacity. He's ready to go face to face with Lord Vader and say, "Hey, what the frick is up? Give me my much needed promotion."
Yep.
You know.
And Vader tells him to shut up and sit down.
And he still enjoys it. Like, he gets force choked by Vader and leaves with a smile on his face. So
I don't think he leaves with a smile on his face.
I think any interaction with Lord Vader he would take, good or bad. So that's why I love Director Krennic. He's his ambition. So I'm curious to see, you know, the extent that we will. I don't need him to necessarily play a huge role in season 2 because I think Andor already established so many amazing characters that we need to focus on them. But you can tell the Imperial presence is probably going to be ramping up. That's what they've been hinting to. So, Andor season 2 will have the same great writing, but I think will be ramped up in terms of action, characters, consequences. Agreed. People are gonna die. People are gonna die, y'all. Because look at all these acquaintances that Cassian has met, you know, in the inner workings of the rebellion that obviously aren't present in Rogue One. That doesn't have to necessarily imply that their absence from the film means that they don't exist anymore and they're dead.
No, they're dead. DEAD dead.
Listen, they weren't afraid to do that in season 1. Everybody in Aldhani, other than a few, made it out unscathed. Ben Mendelsohn is also amazing. Yes, Bar Charge to back me up. The performance, yes, Ben Mendelsohn, literal goat, literal veteran.
Yeah.
So that as well. Stacked cast. Oh God, I'm just so ready. Krennic was doing his job and Tarkin stole his thunder, right? Like you just feel a little bit. You feel bad for him.
No.
Alan Tudyk confirmed, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes, I think K2SO is 1,000% going to be in season 2. I remember because back when season 1 was coming out, I think I was out here like preaching, I can't wait for K2, and everyone nerfed me. Or every corner I turned, they were all like, he's not going to be in it till season 2. And I'd be like, no. So we've waited. We paid our dues, y'all. It's time. It's time to get him back.
No.
And I predict that his, companionship with Cassian isn't going to start out so great. They're obviously best of friends by Rogue One, but I don't know if they're going to get off on such a good foot. I think
No.
I'm curious to see. I don't think they're going to click right away. They probably have a journey.
He's also reprogrammed. So who reprograms him? Does Cassian reprogram him?
You know, potentially.
Or who reprograms him? No.
It could be. Potential. Oh, that's true. He's also going to be at Celebration. I gotta choose, y'all. I gotta narrow down my faves. I gotta make a list of my backups and my... Because obviously the Ewans and Haydens, like, sell out immediately. Everyone coming out in the chat with K2's best one-liners. But yes, we are on episode 3 we're gonna watch tonight for our Andor rewatch. And it's definitely, I mean, does it feel different for you? Because this is surprisingly our first time rewatching it since it came out for some weird reason. I don't know if we freshly rewatched it.
I think we rewatched a few episodes, but not the whole show.
Yes.
I don't remember ever rewatching the entire show.
But it obviously flows... It's kind of reminding me of the emotions I felt the first time watching it. Because in hindsight, yeah, when you watch episodes like 1 and 2, you're like, all right, this is building to something, like, but when's it gonna happen? When's it gonna break? Like, what's going on here? And then episode 3 hits, and you were like, holy shit, we're watching the real deal. Sorry, everybody, sorry. I've gotten too liberal dropping curse words in my horror film reactions because I can bleep them out in hindsight. I'm sorry. I let that slip. Listen, cursing makes it easier when you're scared for your life, okay? Makes it easier.
You can do what you want. Do what you want. Do whatever you
Oh
want.
goodness. But yes, just rewatching it, I'm kind of reminded of we all had those feelings for a few weeks, like, okay, this is interesting. This is really well produced, great quality, awesome soundtrack, like good performances, and then when we realized what the totality of the show was when it comes to the arcs and the writing, I just, what did we do to deserve this? Didn't know she had that in her. So damn, I know, sorry. I see Luthen dying in season 2. I think we're all fearful of that. Clearly, you're.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of death. Because what were they teasing the whole first season? That the Empire in this current time is not taking the rebellion serious enough. And they keep name dropping, you know who, Big Daddy Sheev, the Emperor himself, Palpatine. So many people name drop Palpatine. And the whole theme of the first season was that the Empire is not taking the rebellion serious enough. And it was escalation of conflict and damage to the Empire into the second season, where they literally end it with the Death Star getting, completed. And they name drop Palpatine the whole first season, and now Krennic is showing up. Like this
Well, and I think
this second season is going to be like revenge on the rebellion for what they did in the first season, and
the uprising on Ferrix is totally gonna have.
It's gonna be some serious consequences. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just the complete decimation of Ferrix to start the first season.
Well, it's also, you gotta think about, oh god, holy shiz, you could be right. No.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, they'll certainly tighten their grip because Ferrix was formerly not necessarily under their jurisdiction. It was kind of like an outlier, like on the cusp. But I think there's going to be retribution for that. But you also got to think, now I'm thinking, yeah, because this comes right up to where we know Cassian in Rogue One. Cassian's also, he's a much more determined and cutthroat. He's in a much different place than where we know him now. We've seen obviously that he's willing to do whatever it takes. He's willing to put himself out there for the rebellion and to prove himself to Luthen especially, but by the time we see him in Rogue One, he's out here killing his accomplices. His first scene, when we first meet him, he kills his connection, who's hooking him up with the deets about the Death Star and whatnot. So which is hilarious to actually think about in hindsight when you, oh god, that's not hilarious. It's gut-wrenching to think about in hindsight, knowing that that's what Cassian worked on during his imprisonment. The parts and whatnot, the construction. But he's obviously driven to a point where he's willing to take lives and take risks, and he's extremely, pressing on Jin to try to, like, locate Galen and whatnot. So, like, his head is fully in the game. So you've got to imagine that some crazy tragic things. Obviously, already one of the worst case scenarios, Marva already died in the end of season 1. So that's already a huge loss for him. But you've got to imagine there's probably a few more in the chamber to get him, to drive him to this point where he's willing to kill just to get some answers about what the frick are we going to do to stop this super weapon. Will we see Tarkin in season 2? Good question, Sal.
That is a good question. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they got Yularen in there already. They're gonna have Krennic. Given Tarkin's ties with Krennic, when we get to Rogue One, I think it could make sense that they would have him in there.
Yeah,
could make sense.
Quick pivot for Rolf. What's up, Rolf? I just wanted to say that I live in LA as well. And holy shnikes, I hope that you're all right. I'm glad to know that you haven't been displaced. We got very lucky. Here's to 2025, getting better from here. Yep. You freaking said it, Rolf. Literally, that happened, 7 days, a week into the new year, and it's been horrific, obviously, but the only way I've been able to look at it is we can only go up from here, I hope.
Yeah, here's hoping.
And we're incredibly lucky to have the first responders and all the forces and whatnot, the LA Fire Department out there in full force. I do feel a little bit bad for the Rams. They could have made a victory run, Tom thinks, for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but it was the worst ending to a football game since the last time the Cowboys were in the playoffs. So
Sorry for
they
you.
threw. They totally threw. The Rams completely threw that game. They did all the hard work. The Eagles deserved to lose, and the Rams wasted away the game. So yeah, that is disappointing. But
Yes, I did feel bad. As an Eagles fan, I'm happy, but I would have been willing to lose. If there's anyone I would have been willing to lose to, it would have been the Rams. Because I do root for them by transitive property now, having lived in LA for as many years as we have. But
Charlie goes, don't forget Old Cereal Boy. Yeah, Old Cereal Boy is.
That's true.
I mean, I can't wait to see him. We're gonna rewatch the scene of him eating those crunch berries like 5 times in a row.
It made us go out and buy like
crunch berries.
What did we buy?
Straight up.
Captain Crunch or like Tricks after that?
You know that's the cereal they used to film.
1,000%.
Crunch berries.
1,000%.
Sure.
Hoping Kino Loy returns. Also $1 million question from Sal. I don't know where I stand. I think I'm 50-50 neutral on that because if we don't ever see him again, it adds to the weight, the questions of there are people in this rebellion who are sacrificing their lives potentially, but you don't know what becomes of them. He could either live or he could be dead or alive. You want to hope alive, but chances are probably not great. Or they could have recaptured him, perhaps, or whatnot. Worse, frankly, than death, if that were to have been his fate during the prison break. But
yeah.
I don't mind the ambiguity and the kind of heartbreak of like, we'll never know what happened to him and you can only imagine and pray that he either made it out and survived and started a new life and try not to think of the worst case scenario. But if he does show back up, I'm not going to be opposed to it because literally man had the most electric role in the show, practically the best dialogue and everything. So
I think it's better that he doesn't come back. Because he still gave that whole speech and rallied the entire facility to escape when he knew that he was not going to survive. So the fact that he did all of that, even though he knew that himself he was screwed because he doesn't know how to swim, makes the moment so much more powerful, I think.
And that is.
But if he gets rescued by the people who can swim and like the other swimmers like carry him, then, I mean, I think that's a totally feasible way that he could survive.
True. Or he turns into Snoke, says Sean.
Or he
unfortunately.
turns into Snoke.
Inevitably. Andy Serkis stated that he'd love to come back, so we shall see. What a rebellion leader he would have been, is all I'll say. Yeah, listen, I will not complain if he does come back, and I trust Tony Gilroy's writing and everything he's done, and he's also one to say, I think he came out before season 1 aired and disclaimed like we're not in this for the gratuitous cameos or whatnot. Like everyone will have a purpose in the show who shows up, even characters like Krennic and whatnot. Yep. So I trust that he would know how to handle that in a way that would be satisfying or make sense if Kino does return. But to your point, yeah, that's the whole theme of this show is everyone's in this. That's why the stakes are so high. Everybody is engaged in this, knowing that they're probably going to die. Luthen, I think especially. I mean, the red flags are there. The dark cloud looms over him, and he says it himself. I know I'm doing all this for a future that won't remember me, So it is about the kind of not forgotten voices per se, but the people who do sacrifice everything, knowing they might not make it out. So we'll see. Oh my gosh. I need it to be April now. Frick.
3 months.
And you've just got to think like
3 months and it's out.
Especially since like
almost to the day.
Holy smokes, yeah. It would be tomorrow, April 22nd.
Is it?
It's going to work out perfectly, y'all. Oh gosh, I'm so freaking excited, y'all. April is about to be the most goated month. We're going to go to Celebration. Get ready, y'all, because we're going to be streaming probably after each day that we're there to just do like recaps,
vlogs, play vlogs,
all that good stuff. It's gonna be content out the wazoo, and then we're gonna come back and watch Andor, and I'm gonna cry. Oh, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. And now we at least know what we're in for, since I think it has been confirmed that they are following a similar you know, it's going to be 3-episode arcs, and it's going to cover 4 years of Cassian's timeline. I think that has been confirmed. Each arc, each pocket of 3 episodes is a year's worth of time. So, wait, that actually really ramps things up. Hopefully,
yeah, they said it's going to end literally right before Rogue One.
Hopefully that they can maintain the flow of things. Derek Henderson, what's up? Can't say I remember no Andor. Well, you better. It's coming. It's coming back, Derek. We're in Andor season now. But then what the frick is coming after Andor? Does anyone know? What's the trajectory of Star Wars this year? I think it's a little slimmer, no?
Yeah. Because is Mando and Grogu movie this December?
Oh, wait, that could be end of this year.
This winter, or is it 2026?
That could be the end of this year, I think, because they finished filming last year, I'm pretty sure.
I would expect it to be end of this year, I think.
Oh, y'all, if we had a Star Wars...
season 2 is next year.
If we had a Star Wars, y'all... I have no idea, says Sean. I don't know either. I don't know either. But yes, I think Mando and Grogu was moved up, no, to a December 2025 release, I hope. Oh, Volume 3 of Visions. Okay. Never mind. Sean says I think it's 2026. Frick. Okay, so we are getting some animation with Visions. That's good. But what else? Because Ahsoka's not in development until this year. This might be it, y'all. It's gonna be a slim year. Frick.
It could be.
No.
Because we have no word on another Mandalorian season.
Well, that's probably not going to happen until after Mandalorian and Grogu. Yeah. Which, did they film those in conjunction so that they could come out relatively close to each other?
I don't know.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
This could be...
No sign of life on the gaming front either.
Yeah.
Zilch was ranting about no Battlefront 3 in the bot stream.
Oh, yeah?
A couple... last stream, maybe the stream before.
I'm sorry.
Just ranting about how there's no Battlefront 3. I think I was dreaming about no Battlefront 3 too the other night after we talked about it. Just how upsetting it is.
It's permeating your thoughts.
It is. It is, because I think about if they announced a Battlefront 3 Star Wars online multiplayer glory. If they announced that, it would be literally all that I eat. Well, I can't eat it, but all that I think about, do, any single second that I have the ability to. Eat, sleep, think Star Wars Battlefront 3 if it were to come out.
Well, dang. Well,
because video games are awesome. And in particular, Star Wars video games are awesome. And in particular, the multiplayer shooter Star Wars games are awesome.
Did you ever play Squadrons? You did, right? Did you finish the campaign for Squadrons?
Yeah, I beat the campaign for Squadrons.
Yeah.
But I never really played it after that.
I forgot about Squadrons.
It's the ships, and it's like, yeah, it's cool, and it was cool to play it in VR for a little bit, but it's like, it's not Battlefront. Battlefront is cream of the crop.
I think we are in now the tail end of like the Disney Plus rush, the gold rush of Disney Plus, where we were getting all the live action shows and whatnot pumped out. We were getting a lot of quantity, but I think now we're phasing into, it's kind of hitting me that they are shifting gears to focus on Rey movie, James Mangold's movie, Dawn of the Jedi, Mandalorian and Grogu. We still have production of Ahsoka in the queue and whatnot, but... And isn't Dave doing his own still? Dave's doing a Mandoverse culmination film, no? Isn't there going to be a... I can't even keep track, but movies. The pipeline's shifting to movies now.
It's a lot of things that have been announced, but there's also been a lot of things in the past that have been announced that we never actually got. So until we get some type of material, until there's a trailer, a teaser trailer,
Eclipse.
we can't Eclipse talk, and we got a trailer for that. We even got a trailer for that game. And everyone was like, what the hell is this? This is like the greatest looking Star Wars game maybe ever. It was the biggest Star Wars trailer. It's so huge. It's if you look at the viewership of that trailer compared to even the trailers for all these live action shows, like I'm pretty sure Eclipse has eclipsed the viewer count on all the shows. Everyone was like, what? They dropped that out of nowhere. We're like, oh my God, this is the coolest looking thing of Star Wars property.
It was amazing.
Maybe since Disney's ever taken over. And that was like 5 years ago when that thing dropped.
It's never gonna happen. That's why I'm cracking
They're sitting on literal diamonds, a pile of diamonds, and that thing is completely falling into the cracks of the ether.
We might be 60 years
But
old.
look at that. I mean, I literally occasionally would just go watch that trailer and be like, oh my God, this looks
so
amazing.
good.
It looks incredible.
So freaking good.
It looks incredible.
It was life-altering. I'll never forget the day, the energy, the vibe and the ether of the fandom when that came out, because we were all collectively just brain blasted, like, what the frick? And it's never gonna happen. Too good to be true. They didn't have to rock our worlds like that. They didn't have to. Oh, God.
God, so...
That was hilarious, Hand of Omega. Sorry. I don't know if you meant that in a funny way or not, but... Eclipse will never not get me because it just the fandom imploded on itself.
Eclipse is the definition of tragedy.
It is. It's painful.
Oh,
I have to laugh to conceal the pain.
God, it doesn't make any sense though because it was unanimous. I never saw one negative thing about Eclipse about that trailer.
No, because it looked
not
amazing.
a single negative thing at all about that trailer.
Granted, they revealed nothing about storyline. Visuals
Sure
and
they
electric
did.
music only.
It's about Jedi and this war of this other faction and the Trade Federation and Goo Man, Harkonnens and drum. Like it's like
the
what?
Oryx. The Oryx of Star Wars.
They
Coming
built
out
this
of the
world pre-prequels that was just insane looking and awesome looking and a huge scale conflict.
Was that in 2021, Charlie? Is that when the Eclipse trailer came out? My God. That feels like yesterday. Holy shiz.
When did it come out?
I still randomly think of that dude banging on the war drums. Yeah, because it was electric. Oh, God.
3 years ago.
Jeez.
22 million views that trailer has.
Jesus.
22 million views. How much did the Skeleton Crew?
Probably because people go back and rewatch it just to, like, fill the void.
Skeleton Crew trailer, 4.4 million views. Skeleton Crew trailer.
I mean... Eclipse also
22 million views on Star Wars Eclipse.
It came out
a game that it will never exist.
It was the perfect storm. It came out of nowhere. They dropped it on us out of complete nowhere. Nobody knew what the frick was going on, and it was just bomb visuals, amazing, epic, gorgeous all around.
The Kenobi teaser has 19 million views. Star Wars Eclipse has more views on its trailer than the Kenobi teaser trailer.
I'm telling you.
With Duel of the Fates.
It's because people have nothing to do but just go back and rewatch it and mourn.
The official trailer, 13 million views for Kenobi. Eclipse is one of the... And they still haven't made it. Like, why aren't they making it? Just make the game.
There were problems.
Make the game.
There were production problems.
3 years ago, maybe. Make the game.
Listen, I don't know what's going on in the universe that we've entered an era now. I mean, just look at GTA 6, and I'm also coming fresh off of this because I just saw that they announced that the price tags. How is it that it takes decades to make games anymore? Genuinely asking, genuinely. I don't mean this as a criticism.
GTA 6 is literally the biggest, most anticipated, most open world, batshit crazy game in the history of video games. That's what GTA 5 was. GTA 5 is far and away the most highest selling, profitable video game in the universe history. GTA 6 is the most anticipated video game in human history. GTA 5 came out over 10 years ago on the PS3. And now we're 2 consoles later, still waiting GTA 6. And it's going to be the biggest map in history. And yeah, they're taking their time to make it as incredible as possible. So I've seen the price tag stuff, and the price tag doesn't really bother me. If the price tag is
That
what it
doesn't
is,
bother you. It's gonna be
if the price
$100.
tag is what it is, and they've spent the decade since the Cold War making this game, and it is a pile of garbage, and it's $100, then that's an issue. But if it's like, oh my god, we waited 15 years for this game, and it comes out, and it's $100, and it's insane, and it's totally worth it, and you play it for the next 10 years, like people who have been playing Grand Theft Auto 5 for the last 15 years, that game costs $60. You spend $60 on a game, and you play for 15 years? I could go get Chipotle for $60, and it's done in 15 minutes.
Here's all
It's a
I'm
lot of
saying.
Chipotle for $60.
To piggyback on what Dan is saying, taking a whole generation to make a game is crazy work. That's what I'm saying, and this is not just exclusive to GTA. However, game developers can't even come out with expected release date anymore without it getting inevitably pushed back a year, then another year. I mean this genuinely. Why are game development studios suddenly... Why does it feel like there are so many obstacles to produce anything? It takes forever to develop anything, and then when it's released, they need to jump... Like somebody was saying about, Outlaws. They need all these patchworks, all these bugs. Patchworks, that's not even a proper term. These patches, yeah. All these corrective measures taken in hindsight. Somebody said that Outlaws is still getting patches for corrections, which I still have to freaking play that game, but
no,
like,
we haven't played Outlaws.
And how is it that even... Just how did we get to a point where we can't even get a video game in a timely fashion, seemingly? And I mean this genuinely, not as a criticism. If like someone can answer, if somebody knows why...
There's a great answer. Stanley's has a great answer. If you're talking about a game that's a sequel, it has to outdo the first one. So bigger map, it's going to take longer. Better quality, next-gen consoles, higher frame rate, higher resolution, better ray tracing, additional graphics features. It's going to take way longer.
Okay, true. The expectations and the bar is continuously set higher. So
and that's technology, the performance, it takes longer to render all these things. If it's bigger worlds, more involved worlds, you got to render all these things. If you want to keep up with the frame rate, you need to get it to max performance. And they've been developing GTA 6 for a very long time. And it surpassed multiple consoles, so they're going to make it current gen. But if they did all this work on PS4, Xbox Series X, that's wrong. But the PS4, and then now it's like, oh, well, we got to make it for PS5. Like, then you got to go do backwards compatibility testing and updates.
True.
And yeah, to catch all the bugs. If you've got this massive game, you want to get players get their hands on it to play test it, to iron out the bugs. Like, it all takes time. It all takes time.
So the bar is constantly being raised. What's
which
up,
is
Jerry?
why Battlefront 3 has been killed in cold blood 2 times. 2 times Battlefront 3 has been axed. And Battlefront 3 in the early 2000s was almost done. It was like 95% done. And then LucasArts axed it. And then we waited another 10 years for Battlefront 2015.
Rip.
And then they blew it out of the water with Battlefront 2017. And then here we are. 8 years later, and no sign of life for Battlefront 3. Dead. Just like Eclipse. Both dead.
Infinite Flash makes a good point as well. Studios look forward to live services now. GTA still makes a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
There was no rush to make a new one. That's fair.
Yeah, it's totally true. I mean, GTA 5 is literally still insanely actively played online. And it came out in 2013.
Listen, I'm not...
And it still makes money. It still makes a crazy amount of money.
That's true. It's like...
It's the most profitable video game of all time in history. Which, speaking of, you should absolutely do a playthrough of GTA 5 before GTA 6 comes out.
Well, I have time. And at this rate, it might still continue to get friggin' pushed back.
You probably have until 2040 to play.
Jeez, yeah.
Maybe Eclipse
Um,
comes out sometime in the 2030s.
Dylan says that if quantum computers ever become a reality for the masses, everything will change. All games will look exactly like real life. You're on something. Yeah, I do not doubt that. I think 1,000% within our lifetime, games already look. Uh, Sometimes you can't discern between real life and not in game technology nowadays. So that's fair, and that's something I didn't consider, that the bar is always being raised, and developers have to keep up with the constant demand, because if you were to release a game, I mean, God forbid, yeah, for example, look at what happened to the Smeagol game. That had quite a lot of pushback. It was well, I don't think it actually was highly anticipated,
it's totally
but
different. No, it's totally. We're talking totally different.
yeah, it's a different arena. But look at the way that game got absolutely ripped to
We're talking a
smithereens for just poor
Volkswagen Bus
visuals.
versus a.
Okay. Okay. Yes, I understand that they are completely different, but I'm just saying you can't. The expectation is there now for every developer and studio to have. I know that they are not equatable in any way, shape, or form, but still, I'm making the point that you can't release something that doesn't look visually up to par anymore. Otherwise, it's going to get ripped to smithereens. So, I see the demand and the challenge that developers have to make that, and I guess that would warrant a coinciding price gauge, a price hike for the.
But it's also like you think about the time per the price tag. It's like price per game play time.
That is true. That's true.
Like you go spend $60 at the movies,
and
you're there for 2.5 hours. You go out to eat, you get 2 burgers, 2 drinks, tip, tax, $60 for an hour and a half. Bought GTA 5 in 2013 for $60. Still playing it 15 years later.
You know, you're right.
The gift that keeps on giving.
You are right. It's not just like a one-time disposable investment.
Yeah. There are certainly games where if you buy it and then you hate it and you bought it digitally, then it's like, oh, well, I played that for like 5 hours and it kind of sucked and now I'm down in the hole. But for a game that you know you're going to play for a very, very long time, even if it is $100, paying $100 for an open world, biggest like open world map in the history with endless. You can literally log on and do whatever you want and cause whatever mayhem you want and play with friends and do literally whatever you want. And you can do that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until GTA 7 comes out in 3175.
There is a confirmed 7th one?
No, but it's going to come out in the year 3175, probably.
Well.
So, Rocket Bike ruined GTA 5 online for me. Yeah, that thing sucks. That thing is crazy. I don't have one. But just getting, you go on any type of mission and that thing just flies in and claps you and you're done. You're toast.
That was very informative, and I never thought we would have such a deep dive on the video game development.
I don't know how this turned into Grand Theft Auto talk.
Well, you know,
Eclipse, and we're talking about
Eclipse.
We're talking about waiting
games
eons
we
for
will
a
never
game.
get.
Ugh.
Here. Poll positions for the day.
What comes first? GTA 6 or Eclipse? I'm going GTA 6.
No.
Because at least there's signs of life. We got the trailer with Tom Petty. We got that trailer.
You may fire when we're ready. Speaking of Tarkin, will we ever get Eclipse, y'all? See or no? I'm pretty sure I'm team. Okay, 100%. Yes, that's giving me hope. Are we going to be like 45 years old when it comes out? If and when? By that point, I don't know if it would be socially acceptable for me to be streaming anymore. You know what? Frick it. I'm going to be like these old ladies you see out here on TikTok.
It's socially acceptable to stream.
Yeah, listen, I'm not part of that.
My feed is flooded with like retirees playing Fortnite or Warzone.
I know, and I think it's great.
And they're gaming.
And they're living their best lives.
There's no age limit to being on the internet.
Listen, it's just funny because when Eclipse first came out, that trailer, if it was 2021, here we are in the year of our Lord 2025. I'm pretty sure this is the year we all thought that game was going to come out. Like, yeah. We watched that in 2021 and we were probably like, all right, we're going to
Let
get
me
this
just
in
look it up.
25. And here we are.
What's the latest like
Um,
major article
I
about
don't think there is any. I think it has just been permanently, it's in a purgatory state. Um, but half of y'all think yes, so who knows? We could. Anyone who's watching and has no idea what we're talking about, if you're lurking but not engaging, we still love you. You're still a valued member of the Dork Discourse squad. Eclipse is a electric Star Wars video game trailer that they dropped on us out of absolutely nowhere in the year 2021, and it completely altered the brain chemistry of everyone in the fandom, and it has since become clear that the game might not ever happen. But it was absolutely fire and flames. So there's some backstory if you want to cast a vote and see yes or no whether you think it might ever come to fruition. In the meantime, Bird Church, member for 25 months, thank you so much.
Church.
Side note, how excited were you that Ewan will apparently feature in Ahsoka Season 2 as Obi-Wan? More Clone Wars flashbacks with Obi, Ahsoka, Anakin. Can I be honest and level with y'all for a second? And we talked about this a little bit, didn't we? We didn't get too much into it.
Mm-hmm.
The alleged news that Ewan will make a return in Ahsoka Season 2.
Yes. Did we talk about it?
We did. Because you said that he would be a Force Ghost. You said your Force Ghost Council is coming to fruition.
We want to get into this? We can get into this.
Listen, we'll end it off with this. Not too long, because dinner's going to burn in the oven.
We can
but
get screw dinner. We can get into this.
A little bit. Because my initial thoughts, Retro, what's up? Just popping in to say hi quick. Not doing too great, but I hope that everyone here is doing okay. Well, I hope that you do better soon. Really good to hear Tom talk about video game development. I tend to play older games, pre-2015. Nice.
Very nice. Hence
Honestly,
the name Retro.
Some of the best.
There you go.
That's when some of the best games are from. Well, thanks for being here, and I hope that we can raise your spirits even the slightest bit. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, back to Obi-Wan Force Ghosts or Clone Wars flashback potential.
Listen. We've been saying since the dawn of time, since before the sequel trilogy even came out, that it is almost a must that, given the way Return of the Jedi ends off, with Anakin and Obi-Wan and Yoda as Force Ghosts, locking eyes with Luke, that in whatever Star Wars project happens after Return of the Jedi, it makes sense that the Force Ghost Council is there to advise and counsel the last remaining Jedi in the universe, which is Luke. And we go 3 movies and a bajillion shows where Yoda pops up for a second. Now Anakin's popping up for a little bit here in Ahsoka. We get a bunch of mysterious voices on Exegol in episode 9. But like the grand moment that everyone was anticipating happening sometime in the sequel trilogy was Luke talking to his father, Obi-Wan, and Yoda. He talked to Obi-Wan and Yoda all throughout the original trilogy. And now he knows his dad, and he sees his dad at the end of Return of the Jedi. So the fact that, like, that moment of Force Ghosts and Luke talking to each other, we haven't seen that yet. Now, 10 years after The Force Awakens, and there's been a billion post-Return of the Jedi projects, and it hasn't happened yet. And they're laying the seeds. They gave us Anakin in Ahsoka Season 2. We got Yoda in The Last Jedi. But we haven't seen them all together. And we know that Ahsoka and Luke now know each other. And like they're sprinkling it in. But we haven't seen the grand moment of them all coming together to solve whatever crisis in the galaxy warrants them coming together. So, if Ewan is in Ahsoka Season 2, and Anakin Force Ghost is there, perhaps this council moment, Ahsoka knows Yoda, Obi-Wan, Anakin, obviously, better than Luke knows them. Do we get that moment in Ahsoka? I think that moment deserves to happen on the big screen, but they've had 3 chances to do that, and they refrained. So what next? What's next on the big screen that would make sense for that to happen?
I don't think there is.
There's not any clear, obvious candidates.
Unless Dave is still making his Mandoverse culmination, if that wasn't replaced with Mandalorian and Grogu. Because wasn't that announced? It was 3 films. It was the James Mangold one, it was the Rey film, and it was a Dave Filoni Mandoverse film.
Mm-hmm.
That is still happening in conjunction with Mandalorian and Grogu.
Allegedly.
The one's not replacing the other.
Allegedly.
I want to side with my thoughts and initial response to this alleged news, rumors of Ewan McGregor in Ahsoka Season 2. I am inclined to side with Mattress Matt.
That is just flashbacks?
No, I didn't read that part.
That would still be cool.
No,
that would make sense.
No.
More Clone Wars flashbacks.
His comment, if you think about it, none of this makes sense if the story is actually good. I interpret that as good. I just want the story. I don't care who's in the show as long as it feels warranted and believable that they would be there. I do not want my opinion and stance is we had a prime once in a lifetime opportunity with the Kenobi show to utilize and bring back Hayden and Ewan. I'm not saying that has to be the only time, but I'm saying like that was peak. That's as ripe as it's ever gonna get.
Well, yeah, not in ghost form. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's real time. That's not flashbacks. Yes. That's not ghosts. That is in the present day, the 2 of those characters together again.
My opinion is I would not care one way or the other, but I just fear I don't personally want Ewan or Hayden to be distilled down to these gratuitous cameo roles that are only there for like shock value. Don't get me wrong, that's not what I'm saying I feel about the Clone Wars flashbacks in Ahsoka Season 1. Literally, y'all saw me cry. Y'all saw me crying. So that's not how I feel, but you can't have too much of a good thing is what I'm saying. Like, I don't want it to become too much, and that's what Ewan and Hayden are distilled down to, just these moments used for their name and the shock value and the emotional impact, because admittedly, yes, I feel that in the moment when I watch some of these, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the most amazing thing ever, and then you look back in hindsight and you're like, but what was the purpose of that? Like,
yeah, it's gotta be,
it has to be warranted.
It has to be a good, if they're actually going to have Luke, Ahsoka, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Yoda in the same scene, all of them together, now
how the frick is that gonna happen? She's stuck on frickin' Perea.
So Luke's the tough one, but, and I'm not saying this is in Ahsoka Season 2, I'm just saying in general, if that moment happens, if and when that moment happens, they have to have literally like the greatest threat to the galaxy. Like, they have to build up the villains to equal to warranting that season. And it has to be, it can't just be like, oh, here's the game plan to take out the villains. It's got to be like, whether it's Luke or Ahsoka, they're like completely like distraught and angry or fighting or contemplating turning the dark side, and like the Anakin, Yoda, Obi-Wan council has to literally like turn them back around and like literally master them, and like what you see Obi-Wan and Anakin in Revenge of the Sith. Obi-Wan's literally yelling at him, telling him that you're going down the wrong path, and like it has to be that level of intensity, both from the villains and from the protagonist mindset, to warrant the triad Force Ghost Council coming in and talking sense into them. And right now, there is not a single villain in post original trilogy era. They have not set up any villain right now that warrants that. Ahsoka season 2 is our greatest sliver of hope with the Mortis gods and
Yes.
Abeloth and the potential on Peridia of, oh, we're gonna wake up this all-powerful Mortis god level dark side evil thing, and it could potentially go and completely decimate everything way more than anything that Palpatine could have done. And if it's going to be Anakin and Ahsoka's job to wrangle that, and they mess up, or Anakin and Ahsoka are at ends and are fighting, then okay, who's the next greatest Jedi in the galaxy at the time? That would be Luke. And if they have to put together this master game plan and get the characters in the present, which would be Ahsoka and Luke, in the right mindset to tackle this greatest threat the galaxy's ever seen, then that is the situation that warrants this grand reunion Force Ghost Council that we were teased at in the very last scene of Return of the Jedi.
Wow. I put up one real final poll, y'all. This was a little last minute tangent. I saw our Queen Alice pop in. Hello. We've been out here ranting about Kenobi that I haven't had a chance to say hello. But don't worry. You weren't late at all because I knew that Tom was still going to go off about the potential of seeing Kenobi in Ahsoka Season 2. So, we will finish off with another poll. We never do this, a double poll. Well, everyone is very confident that yes, we will see Kenobi in Ahsoka Season 2. And I actually do, I am forgetting that yes, if her story takes a path now deeper into the lore of the Mortis gods and whatnot, that could be applicable because that is Ahsoka, Kenobi, Anakin, that's their, you know, they are very much bonded by that experience. So that could make sense. So listen, I could see it in that regard, yeah, because if this takes a direction into the Mortis route, I could see it being applicable there.
And that's a case where it makes total sense that Ewan McGregor version of Obi-Wan shows up because it's to Ahsoka.
Yes.
Because it's to Ahsoka. So if Ewan McGregor shows up to Luke, then that's like, oh, that's a little
and
harder
Balin
pill to swallow.
Says Charlie, yes, we didn't even address the news that the Hound could potentially be replacing Balin's skull, which I don't know how I feel. Listen, I love that actor from Game of Thrones. For those who don't know, I should know his name in real life. But the actor who portrayed the Hound, so
I don't know.
God, I forget his actual character's name.
No clue.
Sandor Clegane.
No clue.
In Game of Thrones is seemingly rumored to be replacing the late Ray Stevenson as Balin Skull in Ahsoka Season 2. I think we had made our thoughts clear in the past when this originally happened of how we feel they should handle his character, but if they do recast, to me that's indicative of they have a larger story for this character that they need to they need to have a new actor to carry the torch. You know, like they had more in store for Balin so that they can't write around, which good, I'm glad, because he was an amazing character. And Rory McCann, thank you, Bird Church.
Yes.
And I'd rather see that story get told to the fruition that Dave would have wanted it, especially because they established him as a really interesting, intriguing, mysterious character, and he obviously knows something about Peridia here and is seeking, you know, something to do with Mortis potentially. So that to me is indicative of there's a larger plan in store. So there's no way around, they would have to recast. So I'm fine with that. I don't think any of this is confirmed. Everything we're talking about in the latter half of this stream, not sure if it's all alleged, rumored, you know, we need some scraps to feed off of, to theorize about in the Star Wars fandom, so every other day there's a new little morsel for us to chew on, to see and theorize. But most of you guys are, everyone is agreeing except for 8% that Kenobi there's a high chance he could be in Season 2.
Yeah, there we go. How many people thought Eclipse was happening? I missed that. I missed the results for that one.
How many people did think?
Go ahead and end this.
It was a good... we don't have to end this one. 52% said no, we will never get it. But it was pretty split.
No.
half and half. So you know what? That gives me hope that some of you guys actually are out here thinking we're gonna get that game.
I mean, it's still like the website is still up.
It is?
Yeah, I went, I found it. Website's still up. You can still see the game trailer info. Probably hasn't changed in 3 years. But yeah, someone said that if you just Google it, it says possibly 2027.
Well,
but it's like, okay.
We're getting closer every day then. Okay. You know what? My dream scenario is that I forget about it and then remember. And then we get it. So you know what? Who knows? But everyone's pretty confident it's a much different whole split here, that Kenobi actually might appear in a season 2 of Ahsoka, but they're only just filming that this year, folks. We got a long haul to go before then, so but yeah, until then, I feel a little bit like, dang, after Andor, what's going on this year aside from visions and whatnot, so we'll have to see. Who knows? Maybe we could also, we have Celebration in a few months, so there could be so many, a plethora of announcements, I would hope.
Some big announcements?
Hope so. That would be epic, but...
Battlefront 3?
We covered...
No shot. Zero chance.
Yeah, probably not.
Anyway, that'll be sick.
Don't put all your eggs in that basket.
I'm not.
We should put a bingo card.
Eclipse.
We should make like a
Star Wars projects that actually get announced. That would be fun.
That could be fun. Play some bets.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
We covered quite a lot of ground today, folks, on our return, our long-awaited return to the pod. We clearly had a lot to say. It's been a hot minute, so thank you guys so very much for joining us after it's been quite a hiatus. Thanks for your patience and for everyone who turned up in spite of our much longer break than we thought it was going to be. But this was quite the episode, as usual, to kick things off for the new year. We're just going off on random topics, somehow talking about GTA and Eclipse. Didn't have those on the docket for today. So, big announcements at Star Wars Celebration. Let's hope.
All right,
Let's hope, Mattress Matt.
Mattress Matt, we'll hold you to it.
We're going to be there this
You a
year.
Lucasfilm insider? You work for Lucasfilm? You're hyping us up here.
Don't give me hope.
We'll hold you to it.
We will indeed. A few. Sorry.
For Church Goes Tom, I need to meet you in Heroes vs. Villains and BF2 first. No, you got to meet me in Hero Hunt on BF1. That's what we got to meet. I don't even know if I can have... I don't even know if I... There's no shot I have Battlefront 1 downloaded on any console, but I'll do it. To play Hero Hunt, I don't even know if the server's still up. Are the servers still up on Battlefront 1? I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, before we end, I feel like we should do a third poll.
What?
Because we went on this awesome theory and situational anticipation of Force Ghost Council, and I'm curious what everybody's feeling, if they think they can pull that moment off, or will we never see that moment ever?
Well, assume pole positions for a third and final time here, folks.
I'm very.
This is a rare,
curious. Yes.
Dork Discourse triple poll evening. Crystal Kyber's here. Let's go. Fangirling as always. Thanks for popping in for the very end. Our final poll to send us out. Will we ever get the Force Ghost counts? If this actually were to ever happen, you would be vindicated, because this has been...
That's for the last 10 years I've been talking about this.
You have been predicting this since the dawn of time, as you say.
Yes. And for context, if anyone came in late and missed the discussion, the Force Ghost Council moment is, at the bare minimum, Luke, Obi-Wan, Yoda, Anakin, Ghosts in the same scene together. Potentially now throw in Ahsoka, because Ahsoka and Luke have a relationship, so perhaps Ahsoka is in there, but at least Obi-Wan, Yoda, Anakin as Ghosts in the same scene, whether talking to Luke, talking to Ahsoka, talking to Ezra, talking to Jod, whatever.
Could be anyone.
Those three in the same scene together, giving guidance and tutelage to whatever person in the flesh they're talking to.
I'm gonna go check on dinner.
Anakin is not convinced.
Do you smell burning?
No.
Alright, never mind. It's probably fine. Anakin's not convinced.
You're on this council. We do not grant you the rank of master.
Make these poll votes fast, y'all. I think our enchiladas are burning in the oven. We don't usually go this long.
I don't smell anything.
But you're in luck because okay, it's flashing, it's wavering back and forth. But people are in agreement with you that we could be getting this. Cat go, says Charlotte. I'm like, I mean, our enchiladas have been in there. It's been like almost 2 hours now, shnikes. But I keep them on low, y'all. I keep them on low. There are wildfires. You know what? Fair, Jace. I shouldn't be laughing at that,
Jace.
but
Jace. Hey, you're out in AZ now, so you just got rocks. Your rocks aren't catching fire. So keep your wildfire humor over there across the border. All right.
That was good.
Keep that over there.
I'm sorry, that was good. That's probably all in my head. Listen, I don't know. This could be the culmination. This could happen. There could be a lot of childhood healing if we see Ahsoka in a room with Force ghosts, Anakin and Obi-Wan. Holy shnikes. And listen, like, this is not me saying that Anakin's appearance in Ahsoka Season 1 was for shock factor and nothing more. That did serve a purpose, and it was applicable to her character, and I feel like they had some closure. So where could a scenario be now where Anakin and Kenobi both come into play? I don't think I want it to be a flashback, in my personal opinion, because we had that. It might feel a little...
This Ghost Council is not flashback.
No, it wouldn't. So that's why I'm like, chances are, you're probably right. I would be more in tune with what I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yoda is cooked. Yeah, I don't think Yoda fits into this equation. You could get 3 of the 5 of the council that you're...
Yoda was Luke's master.
But why would he come into play here? If this is going the Mortis route...
Mortis, yes. Yoda, perhaps, doesn't make sense. But I'm thinking the Force Ghost Council moment, it's Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Anakin. For that to make the most sense, I think Luke has to be in play. For that to make the most sense. But could Ahsoka also come into play there? Yes. In the context of Mortis, now you probably don't really need Yoda there, because he was not there with Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, but why not? Why not?
If you're
It
going to
doesn't take up that much space.
Send it.
Cooked I am. That's right, Matthew.
As is this poll. Sorry if you didn't cast your votes. But more people agree with you than not. That was a rare triple poll evening, folks. Don't get used to that, but we had to make up for lost time. We're on borrowed time here. It's been a hot minute, so we had to,
Qui-Gon, Sean, great point.
All right.
Now got Qui-Gon in the flesh.
We have covered so much ground. Our
Mace,
enchiladas are probably
Windu,
burning in the oven, so if we have any chance of eating a edible dinner tonight,
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
we are gonna go. Thank you guys so very much for joining us for quite an eventful first week back of Dork Discourse. We had quite a lot to talk about. What the frick are we even going to discuss next week? We didn't save anything. We didn't save any topics. So we'll see what we can come up with to go from GTA to Ahsoka to Eclipse to who knows what the flip we've been talking about tonight. But thank you guys for joining us for our...
Lots of intelligent discourse.
Yeah, your brain cells are going to multiply. That's what's going to happen next week. That's what happens on this show. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Bye, Crystal. Thanks for popping in. Padme's taxes. It is tax season.
Padme's taxes.
You know what? We can talk about that next week.
Just in time.
We could talk about that.
Just in time, that tax evasion swine.
Jesus. Okay. Thank you guys so very much for watching. We hope you guys have a great rest of your day, night, morning, evening.
Think about the
3
galactic
a.m.
taxpayer.
Wherever
and
you
the
may
burden
be.
that she puts on the average
Thank you
taxpayer.
for joining us. Yeah, her wardrobe alone is crazy. Thank you for joining us for our debut episode of 2025. Hope you guys are doing so well. As always, we'll catch you guys same time, same place next week. But until then, we will see you guys again very, very soon.
Yes. Have a great one.
Bye, friends.